Alright guys, I find myself today in the New Hope Cemetery in Oklahoma. It is not a large cemetery, as you can see. The difference between this one, I mean, you can hear it right now. The cicadas in the trees, they are super, super loud. But also there's the rumbling of a power plant right on the other side of that fence. Now, one of the reasons I find this cemetery very interesting is, one, it's super old. The amount of markers here do not constitute how many burials there are in this small piece of land. It's just that a lot of stones have been lost to time. But it's because it's literally nestled inside, like in the middle of a power company's property. The power company bought the property to build that power plant, but there was a cemetery here, and I guess people didn't really feel like moving a lot of their loved ones out of this cemetery. And so the power plant took the land, but there's literally like fenced off areas that block out everything but a path to this cemetery that's deep within their property. And so it's just kind of like this restful area in this forbidden zone, if you will. So I'm not going to talk too much because it is ridiculously loud, but I did want to show you guys around, show you the stones, and then we'll get on out of here. So just a fun little thing that I've been noticing on a lot of these stones is that as you can hear the cicadas and stuff, well, these creatures shed most of their bodies, and you can find them on the stones just chilling. This is a completely empty shell, and you can just boop, just knock it right off if you wanted. But yeah. So due to this being a very small cemetery, I've basically showed you every single visible stone that I can find. I say every single visible one because there is some brush around the edges. There's a large tree over there with a lot of brush around the bottom of it. And so I don't know if there's stones under there or not. And I don't feel like digging through the brush because I know there's a lot of bugs here. Like my legs are getting eaten alive and I don't have any bug spray. So there could be other stones just kind of hidden away that I have not seen. Also, the grass is pretty thick on that side of the field. So if there are any flat stones or stones fallen over, I'm not able to see them very easily. Now, I did notice while wandering around, there are quite a few broken stones. Not just broken, but worn down old stones that I can't even make out anymore. And to the point where when I say broken down, there are stones that I can see are just crumbled. You can see that it's a white stone with writing on it, but you can't make out names or dates, but you know that was a tombstone. Let me show you a couple of examples. So over here we have 3 large stones, a couple flat stones right there. But I was coming over to look at these ones. I noticed that I had stepped on something hard and flat right there. And as you can see, it's definitely a stone. There is some writing on it, R or BBF, which is initials. Another smaller one right there. Now those are most likely location stones for these ones, but they're fallen down, they're overgrown, so I wouldn't have noticed them had I not stepped directly on them. Also, if you come and look here in the grass, there's obviously the remains of a stone right there. It's just the base. Everything above ground level has broken off. Now I noticed a few stones like that, which is it sucks because I don't know what happened to those stones. I don't know if they just broke, wore away, family members took them, vandals took them. I have no idea. I do know that this area flooded within the last few years. So flood damage, obviously didn't do wonders for the stones here or for the stones underneath the ground or, laying down on the ground. They could have been washed away. Never underestimate the power of running water. There is another missing stone I would like to point out. So this is a rather large base. It is the base for a very large stone. You can see where the stone sat, the imprint of the stone. The base is still here, the stone is gone. Now that could mean a couple things. That could mean that this giant monument fell and broke and somebody just cleaned it up and took it away. Or it could mean that the person was moved to another burial location and they took the stone with them, but not the base. Any of those could be true. All right, it's time for me to get back on the road, but I thoroughly enjoyed this stop. I have been to this cemetery before and it was way more overgrown the last time I was here. So somebody at some point recently came and cut the grass so that it's a little bit easier to walk into, which I like to see. Unfortunately, the stones are in desperate need of repair, and a lot of those stones are just beyond repair. They've been worn down so much you can't really read them. You can tell they probably don't have much life left in them past the next maybe 20 years. And if this place floods again, who knows how much longer they have at that point. But as I've said before in other episodes, it's the family member's responsibility to care for these stones. In generally every cemetery you go to, that is the rule. The cemetery will care for the grounds. The family will care for the monuments. And unfortunately, when you get to a point where the monuments are so old that there may not be any family left to care for them. So they become disrepaired, they fall over, they wear away, and eventually they are lost to time. But they will live forever in Cemetery Road. Anyway, I have to go, but until next time, remember, as always, stay safe, be respectful, and have a good one.